Chapter 19 is called A Chance to Escape. The lock must have deactivated when Chet's hacked the security system, I say, gently pushing the gate, because I can't quite believe we have a way out right here, right in front of us. One of you should go. It's a long way back to civilization, but you might be able to get help. We need all three of us to carry out the rest of the plan, Katya says. It can't work with two people, especially now Ada's gone. But they won't know you've gone, I say to Kat. They won't be looking for you out there. It's a chance to get away from this damn crater. We might not get another one. No, she says, I'm not going. We'll find another way. Mac? I turn to him. Like Kat says, we'll find another way. Anyway, I'm not leaving this place without you guys, Adrian and Chet. And if we don't stop the aliens, it won't be any safer out there anyway, says Kat. We look out at the road stretching through the trees, away from the crater, away from the bug eyes, towards home and our parents and air conditioning. Then we gather up the rest of the moss and race back into the woods towards the centre. We make it back with no sign of Adrian or any of the bug eyes. We're all quiet, focused. With Adrian and Chet's gone, our group feels small and stuff is starting to get real. Trent is still asleep on the bed when we open the door to my room. Chet's is a gross, spitty hunter thing. Adrian is running through the woods being chased by bug eyes. The rest of our class have been body snatched by aliens, and he's just sleeping, Kat says. It's the closest to angry I've ever seen her. It's going to be dark in a couple of hours, I say, looking at my useless phone. It still has 50% power. Funny how long the battery lasts when you can't actually use it for anything. We should wake him and see if he'll help. Ooh, I'll wake him, Max says, pulling a bottle of water out of his bag. As much as I'd like to throw a whole flipping bucket of water over Trent, now isn't the time. Gently, Mac. We can't have him shouting out. Spoil sport, he says, and he walks over to the bed. So what now? Asks Katya. We need to test this moss, see if the tardigrades have any effect on the bug eyes. I've thought about this, and there's something I want to try. It's not the most sensible plan I've ever had. It's possibly the most stupidly dangerous plan I've ever had. But I want to try. We're going to trap a bug eye and run some experiments. But what about the pheromones? Max sits down on the floor with us, leaving Trent to whine in the corner about how rude we are to wake him up. If we enclose the bug eye immediately before he gets a chance to sound the alarm, we should be able to stop the pheromones from reaching the other aliens, I say. You calling the bug eye him? Kat says. You've already decided who we're going after, haven't you? Yep. We're going to get Chet's and we're going to make him human again. You're mental, Trent says. If you're crazy enough to try and abduct an alien, you should at least go for one of the stupid worker ones. But strategically, it could be a good call, I say. We'd be taking one of the hunters out of the mix, which is going to be a massive help when we instigate the endgame. Chet's is the smallest and he hasn't been turned for as long as the others, so he probably has the least sporiness about him. Also, he's our best mate, jerkface, Max says, looking at Trent in disgust. If there's any chance we can turn him back, then obviously we have to try. How are you going to turn him back? Trent snorts. Expelliarmus? With this moss, says Kat, holding open her backpack for him to see. We think there are tiny creatures called water bears living in it, and that they will eat the alien virus. Where's Adrian? He says, looking around like he's just noticed she's not there, which is typical Trent, because he's so self-obsessed. She led the bug eyes away from the gate so we could collect the moss, Max says. Why are there bug eyes at the gate? Surely they know we're not going to be able to climb over, Trent says. And there's all that thorny wire at the top of them. Nobody's getting out that way. The gates are open, says Kat. What do you mean? The gates aren't locked, so they're guarding them. Hold up a bit, Trent says. Are you saying that you were at the gates? The gates were open, the guards were gone, and you didn't try to escape? There are more important things, I say. We're not leaving anyone behind. I always knew you were a bunch of weirdos, but this is a new level of idiotness. Trent tucks into a chocolate bar and laughs to himself. We turn away and ignore him. So, how do we get to Chet's? Kat says. From the security room window, Katya, Big Mac and I have a good view across the lawn to the lake. Pretty much all the bug eyes are out there, disappearing into the tunnel they're digging to channel the water from the lake or operating the generator and pump. The lake is visibly shrinking now. We need to hurry. The hunters seem to have given up combing the woodland for us. Instead, they're circling the site, looking out into the trees, alert for any signs of life. It's like they know that once the lake has been drained, the spores will catch up with us, so they're focusing all their efforts on the main act. Lucky for us, Digger, Hosh and Chet's are separate, spaced out around the circumference of the lake. I could be imagining it, or my eyes might have gone nuts due to the lack of sleep, but they look different to me, especially Digger. He was big before, but it's like he's grown taller and broader, and he's slightly hunched over, like there's something up with his back. He's too far away to see properly, so I put it out of my mind and laser my thoughts onto our plan. All we have to do is draw Chet's away without him raising the alarm. Easy, right? We make our way as stealthily as we can into the trees and through the woods to the area Chet's is guarding. We take our positions. Adrienne still hasn't returned and Trent refused to help with our, quote, suicide mission, so it's just the three of us. But hopefully that's all we'll need. Mac, who is apparently an expert in imitating bird noises, makes a low whistling sound. It sounds strange in the silence of the woods. The only wildlife we've heard since we got here has been the insects. All the other birds and animals seem to have cleared out. Chet's head jerks up as he scans the tree line. Mac whistles again. Chet moves towards the tree where Mac is hiding. This is Kat's signal to move. As Chet stalks closer to Mac's tree, a light thud comes from another tree further in. Kat has played her move perfectly, throwing a rock against a rotten trunk. Nothing too loud, but enough to lure Chet away from Mac's hiding place. When Chet reaches the tree, he finds a sweet wrapper. And not just any sweet wrapper, a green Moam stripe, which he knows is my favourite. We gradually move him through the trees, leaving a trail of noises and clues, Hansel and Gretel style. We try to play it out like it's not deliberate, making some of the breadcrumbs hard to find, like we've tried to conceal them. This game is all about patience. Eventually we get him into the building and to the kitchen door. Chet doesn't hesitate, throwing the door open and making for the fridge. We've left the fridge door open a crack, and from where I'm hiding I see Chet's weird bug face light up as he realises he has us trapped. He pulls the door open and peers inside. Big Mac and me are inside the fridge, our backs against the wall on either side of the door. Now! I shout. We both grab an arm and pull Chet's into the fridge at the same time as Kat slams the door shut from the outside and locks it. Chet struggles. He starts pulling his head back and making that god-awful gurgling sound, but Mac and I are prepared. We've swapped our shorts for trousers and put hoodies over our t-shirts. Our hoods are up and pulled tightly around our faces so only our eyes are exposed. There isn't much of a target for Chet to spit at. He thrashes around, but we hold tight and let the cold work its way into him. Within a few moments, I feel him weaken. I'm really sorry about this, Chet, I say, as we use our backpack straps to tie his hands together to a metal shelving unit. And then I tie a tea towel around his mouth. I think he's glaring at me, but it's hard to tell with those hunter's eyes. That went well, Max says. I knock on the inside of the fridge door and call through. We're okay, Kat. Chet's is tied up and incapacitated. Keep a lookout and we'll holler when we're ready. Well done, guys, she calls back. And say hi to Chet's for me. Katya says hi, I say, turning to Chet's. He makes a noise in his throat that sounds somewhere between a growl and I'm going to kill you in the face. Chet says hi back, I call. Let's get started, Max says, looking like he's thinking what I'm thinking. This bit is not going to be fun. Okay, you're stronger, I say. You hold him and I'll, Chet looks from me to Mac and back again. I think he's scared, which to be fair he should be, because we're basically about to torture him. Max steps behind him and grabs Chet's head. He fights, tries to wriggle out of Mac's grasp, but we don't call Mac Big Mac for nothing. He's strong, much stronger than Chet, and Chet's extra super alien powers are being counterbalanced by the cold. I rip the tea towel from Chet's face, and before he can speak or spit, I ram a handful of moss into his mouth. I do it fast so I don't have to see those black pincers, and then I tie the tea towel back. Really sorry, Chet's. He chokes and splutters. I think for a moment we might have to take the gag off and perform the Heimlich manoeuvre. Just swallow, I say. It'll be much better if you swallow. I look at Mac and see he's struggling with this too. I'm glad Kat's not in here. She wouldn't be able to handle it. She gets tears in her eyes when she accidentally steps on a snail. Chet swallows and retches like he's going to be sick. Then he stops, slumps to the ground. Not asleep, but kind of in a daze. This is the worst thing I've ever done, I say. Same, mate. Mac pulls his hood down. Even though the fridge is super cold, he's sweating. I realise I am too. What next, he says. I guess we wait. We sit in silence, keeping watch over Chet's. Neither of us says it, but I know we're both terrified that we've killed him or something. Maybe the moss is poisonous to humans. Maybe once someone has bugged out, there's no going back. Now that he's still, I can look at him more closely, and I realise that the changes I thought I saw from a distance are real. Chet's is taller. Not a lot, but enough for it to be noticeable. And obviously there's the whole eye thing. But there's also something odd about his skin. It's starting to flake and peel. And I don't think it's sunburn. He suddenly twitches, taking us by surprise. I think he's going to attack us, but it's as if he doesn't know we're there. He writhes around like his whole body is unbearably itchy and he can't scratch it away. Then he starts to choke. Get the towel off, I say, and me and Matt work together to loosen the knot, pull it away from his face and tip him forwards. Chet's is still choking and his face is turning a funny colour, and not funny in a good way, or a waspy way, funny in a close to death way. Mac thumps him hard on his back. Something flies out of his mouth and pings off the wall on the other side of the room. That didn't look like a spitball, Mac says. I run over to the wall and crouch down to examine the missile. It's one of his mouth pincers, I say. Is that a good thing? Mac asks. It's either a good thing or he's about to die, I say, and panic rushes through my body. Chet's, I say, shake him gently. Snap out of it, buddy. Talk to me. Look at his eyes. Mac's jiggling around with excitement. The dark centres of Chet's eyes are lightening from metallic black to a deep brown. The angry yellow rings are fading. Chet, are you back? I say, feeling that pinch inside my nose that means I might start crying. Lance, Chet says, finally focusing his eyes on me. The sight of those chocolate browns looking at me is too much and a tear leaks from my eye. It's been ages. What's happening? Kat yells through the door. Hey, Katya, Chet yells out. Basically, I ate some magic moss and it made me feel a bit weird, but the good news is that I don't think I'm a spalling anymore. Yay, Kat calls. Can I open the door then? I think it's safe, I say, and I can't stop smiling.